All right, so get this.
Okay.
Imagine like a totally normal house,
Right.
in Springfield, Missouri. Cars are parked in the driveway.
Right.
There's a dog inside, wagging its tail.
Okay.
Purses and keys are right where they should be.
Uh-huh.
But get this, the 3 women who live there,
Yeah.
they're gone. Just vanished.
Wow.
It's like something out of a movie or something.
That's wild.
That's the reality of the Springfield Three.
Yeah.
This mystery has baffled everyone for over 30 years.
I've heard about this case.
You've probably heard the basics, but we're going deeper today.
I'm ready.
Much deeper.
Right.
So,
What makes this case so fascinating to me
yeah.
is that it's not just the disappearance itself.
Right.
It's the complete lack of clues.
Yeah, it's like they just vanished into thin air.
Exactly.
June 7th, 1992.
Okay.
Stacy McCall, who was 18, Suzie Streeter, who was 19,
Yeah.
and Suzie's mom, Sherrill Levitt, who was 47.
Okay.
They just ceased to exist.
Wow.
Like literally,
Ceased.
it's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Everything's in place.
Right.
Their stuff, their belongings, the dog.
I know.
It's as if they were just snatched right out of their
the
lives.
goof gone.
So let's set the scene.
Okay.
It all starts with a high school graduation, right?
It does, yeah.
Stacy and Suzie, full of excitement for the future,
Yeah.
they celebrate their graduation on June 6th, 1992.
Okay.
Typical graduation night
All right.
parties, the whole thing.
Exactly.
They initially planned to stay at a friend's house,
Uh-huh.
but later decide to head back to Suzie's house in Springfield.
Interesting.
And that decision leads them to the house on East Delmar Street,
Yeah.
where everything changes.
And this is where the mystery really starts.
Yeah.
They get there sometime between 2 and 2:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And that's the last confirmed sighting of them.
Wow. So late at night,
Yeah.
the next day, friends start to get concerned
Mm-hmm.
when Stacy and Suzie miss their planned water park trip.
Yeah. Makes sense.
They try to call them, but their calls go unanswered.
Oh, no.
So friends decide to go to the house.
All right.
And that leads to this very unsettling discovery.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
Yeah.
so friends find the house unlocked.
Okay.
Everything seems normal,
Right.
except for the glaring absence of the 3 women.
I know. It's so strange.
It's like a scene straight out of a movie.
I can't even imagine.
One detail that has always stood out to me in this case is that broken porch light.
Oh, yeah. That's a weird one.
Was there ever any indication of a break-in?
You know that broken porch light is one of the most intriguing aspects of the case.
Really?
The bulb was missing, the glass globe was shattered, but there's no other sign of forced entry.
So strange.
It raises a really important question.
What's that?
Was it staged?
Hmm.
Was it a deliberate attempt to mislead investigators?
It's such a bizarre detail
It really is.
that just adds to the mystery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So the police are called.
yeah.
The investigation begins.
But I understand that the initial response wasn't ideal.
Yeah, I've heard that.
What kind of impact do you think that had on the investigation?
Well, it seems like it would have a big impact.
You know, in the initial frenzy of trying to locate the women, friends and family had been in and out of the house
Yeah.
before the police arrived.
Oh, no.
They had moved things, tidied up,
Oh, wow.
trying to grapple with the situation.
Of course.
But in doing so, they unknowingly compromised the crime scene.
So we're talking about potentially losing crucial evidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Fingerprints, DNA fibers,
Wow.
anything that could have pointed investigators in the right direction.
Precisely.
Gone.
These kinds of details are critical in a missing persons case.
Right.
Especially one as baffling as this.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to piece together a puzzle with half the pieces missing.
Oh, wow.
That's the challenge investigators faced from the very start.
That's a huge setback.
It is.
It makes you wonder how different things might have been if the scene had been preserved.
It really does.
Okay, so we have this baffling disappearance.
Right.
A compromised crime scene.
Yeah,
And very little physical evidence to work with.
that's right.
So where do investigators even begin?
Well,
Let's start with the victims themselves.
okay.
What were their lives like before they vanished?
Let's begin with Sherrill Levitt.
Okay, Susie's mom.
She was a hardworking single mother,
Mm.
a cosmetologist,
Okay.
and she had recently purchased the house on East Delmar Street.
Oh, wow, so it was a new place.
It was a fresh start,
Yeah.
and friends and family describe her as being genuinely happy about it.
That's good.
There's no indication that she was involved in anything dangerous or had any enemies.
Okay, so nothing suspicious there.
Not really, no.
What about Suzie?
Yeah.
Did she share her mother's passion for cosmetology?
Suzie was following in her mother's footsteps,
Okay.
pursuing a career in cosmetology.
So they were close.
They were.
That's nice.
She also had a passion for cars.
Oh, wow, like me.
Yeah. And like her mother, she seemed to have a bright future ahead of her.
Yeah, it's so sad.
It is.
And finally, Stacy McCall.
Mm-hmm.
What can you tell us about her?
Stacy was known for her kindness and humor.
Okay.
And she was close friends with Suzie.
Oh.
Remember, it was a last-minute decision that brought her to Suzie's house that night.
Right.
It was a twist of fate that linked her destiny with the others.
It's a chilling thought.
It is.
The randomness of it all.
I know.
3 seemingly ordinary lives intertwined by a single decision.
Right.
And then abruptly cut short.
It's really sad.
So we have these 3 women.
Yeah.
No obvious reasons for them to vanish.
Right.
Yet they did.
It's a mystery.
What are some of the theories that investigators explored?
Yeah.
Did any suspects emerge?
One name that repeatedly surfaces is Robert Craig Cox.
I've heard that name.
He was a convicted kidnapper.
Okay.
Who lived in Springfield at the time of the disappearances.
Oh, wow, so he was right there.
He was. Years later, Cox claimed to know what happened to the Springfield Three.
Really?
But his claims were frustratingly vague and lacked specific details that could be corroborated.
Okay, so we have this convicted kidnapper.
Right.
Living in the same town where these 3 women vanish.
Exactly.
That seems like a pretty significant lead.
It does.
Why couldn't investigators link him to the case?
That's the thing.
What specifically was wrong with his claims?
His claims were always shrouded in ambiguity.
Okay.
He would hint at having knowledge of the case, making vague statements that alluded to their fate.
Okay.
But he never provided concrete details.
So it's like he was playing a game with investigators.
Yeah.
Seeking notoriety.
Possibly.
Or trying to exert some kind of control from behind bars.
You know, some people believe that he was trying to inflate his importance.
Okay.
While others suspect he might have had some peripheral knowledge of the events, but wasn't directly involved.
So he knew something, but not enough to be helpful.
Exactly.
Wow.
However, without concrete evidence, Cox remained a frustratingly elusive figure in the investigation.
Right.
He was a person of interest, but not a solid suspect.
So while Cox remains a lingering question mark in this case,
Yeah.
it seems like investigators had to explore other possibilities.
They did.
What were some of the other avenues they pursued?
Well, while Cox's involvement remained unclear, some investigators explored another angle.
Okay.
The possibility that Sherrill Levitt was unknowingly connected to the drug trade.
Ah, the drug-related crime theory.
Yeah.
It's a common thread in a lot of unsolved mysteries.
It really is.
But was there any actual evidence to support this theory?
Well,
in the case of the Springfield Three, what were the investigators working with?
there was a lot of speculation in the early days of the investigation,
Okay.
fueled by rumors and hearsay. Some people theorize that perhaps Sherrill was involved with someone connected to the drug trade,
Okay.
and that this connection somehow led to the disappearances. However, despite extensive investigation, no concrete evidence ever emerged to support this theory.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
a lot of speculation,
Right.
but not a lot to go on.
Exactly.
So we're left with a lot of speculation and no real answers.
It's true.
Did investigators consider any other theories?
Well,
What about the possibility of human trafficking or abduction?
yeah,
It's a terrifying thought.
it is.
But given the complete lack of a trace,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a plausible scenario.
That's a really crucial point you bring up.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances, investigators couldn't ignore the possibility of human trafficking or abduction.
Right.
The fact that 3 women vanished without a trace, leaving all their belongings behind,
Yeah.
it definitely lends itself to this theory.
Right.
Yeah?
But wouldn't there be some kind of evidence? Some indication of foul play?
Well, not necessarily.
Okay.
Imagine a scenario where the abductors were highly organized and skilled at covering their tracks. They might have been able to transport the women quickly and quietly,
Right.
leaving no visible signs of a struggle or forced entry.
So it's like they were professionals.
Yeah, that's one possibility.
People who knew exactly what they were doing
Right.
and how to make people disappear without a trace.
That's a chilling thought.
Yeah.
It's also worth considering that the abductors might have had a personal connection to one or more of the women.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Someone who could have gained their trust and lured them away without raising suspicion.
That's a terrifying thought.
It is.
It makes this case even more unsettling, knowing that someone they knew might have been involved.
Right?
But again, it all comes back to the lack of evidence.
Unfortunately, yes.
Without something concrete to go on. It's all
Yeah.
just speculation, right?
It is.
It must be incredibly frustrating for the families
Oh, I'm sure it is.
to have no answers,
Right.
no closure after all these years.
Yeah.
Has they given up hope?
Not at all.
Oh,
The families of Stacy, Suzie, and Sherrill have been incredibly resilient.
that's good.
They've organized searches, held vigils,
Yeah.
and consistently advocated for the case to remain open.
That's so important.
It is.
And they've managed to keep this case in the public eye.
They have.
I know it was featured on Unsolved Mysteries at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Did that generate any new leads?
The Unsolved Mysteries episode did bring a surge of renewed attention
Okay.
and generated numerous tips.
Oh, that's good.
Unfortunately, none of those tips led to a breakthrough in the case.
So even with national exposure, the case remained unsolved.
Yeah.
It seems like every path leads to a dead end.
It's a true testament to the complexity and baffling nature of this case.
Right.
Despite the efforts of law enforcement, the media, and countless amateur sleuths,
Yeah.
the Springfield Three remain missing.
Okay. So we've looked at several theories.
We have.
Robert Craig Cox,
Mm-hmm.
the drug connection,
Right.
the possibility of abduction or human trafficking.
Yeah,
And yet we're still left with more questions than answers.
it's true.
What does all this mean?
Well,
What can we take away from this deep dive into the Springfield Three?
I think the most important takeaway is that sometimes, even with all our advancements in forensic science and investigative techniques, some mysteries just remain unsolved.
Wow.
The case of the Springfield Three is a stark reminder that we don't always get the answers we seek.
It's a humbling thought
It is.
that despite our best efforts,
Yeah,
some truths remain elusive.
that's right.
But what about the families?
Yeah.
They deserve answers.
They
They deserve justice.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to keep cases like this in the public consciousness.
Okay.
Even after all this time, someone out there might hold the key to solving this puzzle.
Yeah.
Maybe they've been hesitant to come forward,
Right.
or perhaps they haven't connected the dots until now.
It's possible.
It is.
So what you're saying is that there's still hope.
There's always hope.
Okay.
And that's why it's crucial to keep sharing their story. To remind people that Stacy, Suzie, and Sherrill are still missing,
Yeah.
and their families are still waiting for answers.
That brings us to a critical point.
Yeah.
What can our listener do if they have any information about this case?
Well,
Even if it seems insignificant, it could be the missing piece of the puzzle.
that's right.
So no details too small.
Exactly.
If you have any information about the disappearance of Stacy McCall, Suzanne Strader, or Sherrill Levitt, you can contact the Springfield Police Department at 417-864-1810.
Okay.
And if you wish to remain anonymous,
Yeah.
you can contact Crime Stoppers at 417-869-8477.
Good to know.
It's crucial to remember that even the smallest detail could be the missing link that investigators need to finally crack this case.
That's so true.
This case really highlights the power of collective effort.
It does.
Sometimes all it takes is one person
Right.
with the right piece of information
Absolutely.
to bring a long-awaited resolution.
Couldn't agree more.
So,
Yeah.
as we conclude our deep dive into the Springfield Three,
Okay.
I'm left with a profound sense of mystery
Mm-hmm.
and a renewed appreciation for the importance of perseverance.
I think what's so compelling about this case
Yeah.
is that it transcends the typical true crime narrative.
Oh, really?
You know,
Yeah.
it's not just about solving a crime.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the human impact of such a profound loss.
Yeah.
These women were daughters,
Right.
mothers, friends.
Yeah.
Their absence left a gaping hole in the lives of those who loved them.
And it's that human element that continues to resonate with people even decades later.
It does.
We all wonder, what if it were our loved one who vanished without a trace?
It's a scary thought.
It's a fear that strikes at the core of our sense of security.
Exactly. And I think that's why this case continues to fascinate and haunt us.
Yeah.
It forces us to confront the uncomfortable reality that sometimes, even in seemingly safe and ordinary communities, the unthinkable can happen.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
It-
So if you're interested in learning more about the Springfield Three,
Okay.
we encourage you to delve into the wealth of information available online.
Yeah, there's a lot out there.
There are articles, documentaries, podcasts, and even online forums dedicated to exploring this case.
That's right.
You might discover a detail or a connection that others have overlooked.
You never know.
Perhaps you'll stumble upon a new piece of evidence.
Right.
Or maybe you'll simply gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of this enduring mystery.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe your curiosity and dedication could be the catalyst that finally leads to a breakthrough in this case.
I hope so.
After all, it only takes one person with the right information to change everything.
How about the truth?
The Springfield Three may be gone,
Yeah.
but their story lives on.
It does.
And as long as people continue to ask questions, to search for answers, and to keep their memory alive, there's always a glimmer of hope that justice will prevail.
I believe that.
And that's what makes this case so much more than just an unsolved mystery. It's a story about loss, resilience,
Yeah.
and the unwavering belief that even in the face of the unknown,
Right.
the truth is out there waiting to be discovered.
It is.
So keep searching,
Yeah.
keep questioning,
Don't give up.
and never give up hope.
Oh.